welcome back to my channel. It's Blake Damon here with another Sims 4 speed build. Today I'll be doing a shell challenge by Lizzie Builds. She just recently reached 500 subs in her channel, so congratulations Lizzie! Honestly, I'm not very good with shell challenges, especially large ones because I never know what to do with all that space. But this one was really cute and really small, which is right up my alley. And it's a celebration for Lizzie's 500 subs, so I decided to give it a go. So today we're building on a 20 by 15 lot on Newcrest. I picked this tiny lot because the smaller the lot, the less landscaping I have to do. I'm not the greatest landscaper or roofer for that matter. I'm very much more of an interior person. I think in another life I would have pursued becoming an interior decorator. For this build, I didn't really limit myself to any packs, but I think most of this build is either eco lifestyle or snowy escape. I didn't actually plan it to be that way. It just sort of happened. But I actually think they look good together. I think the hardest part of doing this shell challenge was the floor plan. Deciding where everything goes and making sure it all kind of makes sense, I think is harder than it seems. I mean, I could have had this place open up to the bedroom, but I always try my best to avoid that. I always try my best to open up to the living room, have the kitchen nearby, have a bedroom separate, you know, all that. Like you'd see in a real house. After deciding where everything was kind of gonna go, everything sort of fell into place. For example, I knew that I wanted the kitchen at the back, so I started off with that. This is pretty standard, the layout. It's very minimalist. This is quite similar to my usual kitchen plans, but if this is your first time seeing this, welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe. I didn't have enough space in the house to put a study or a desk or even a table, so I just sort of plumped one on the kitchen bar. Because my kitchens and toilets all share the same sink, after doing the kitchen, I usually do the toilet right after. But you all know what this toilet's gonna look like, right? This is why I sort of just left it for a bit. But if you haven't seen my toilets before, welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe. I was trying to figure out a way to make the sofa and TV not so far away from each other. I couldn't though. I hope it doesn't look too weird that they're basically on the other side of the room from each other. I tried to unify that living room area by using a rug to kind of like span the distance between the sofa and the TV. I hope it worked. I had the hardest time trying to figure out what to do with that odd little square. I had a little play around with it and I decided that it'll be the fireplace, which was actually the catalyst for the entire build. Once I realized where the fireplace will be, of course, I knew where the living room was going to be, and then I didn't really have much of a choice of where the kitchen was going to go. So because of the fireplace, this is the layout. I feel like everyone else will make this little square a fireplace as well, but whatever. I really didn't have enough time to figure out what else I could do with that little square, so I just stuck with it. And now the infamous bathroom. I keep saying that my bathrooms are so cramped and tiny, but I do nothing about it. They're all 1 by 3 tiny itty bitty rooms. I don't know, they're just so conveniently sized like this. I can't stop. Help! The bedroom was actually my favorite, and not actually the bedroom per se, because it's not that great. I'm actually talking about the bay window. I can already imagine all the light filtering through it. I reckon I'd love to sit in that little nook with a good book and some tea. I want this window. The rest of the bedroom, yeah, it's okay. I imagined while I was building this that the person is actually quite active. I always thought that maybe there'd be a snowboarder during the winter season and then a skateboarder during the warmer months because there's no snow. And that's why there's all these skateboards and snow gear everywhere. I think my second favorite room is probably the sunroom. I think I'd love to sit in this enclosed little space with a good book and some tea. I don't know. You can probably see the theme going on here. I love fish bowls, me being the fish. I don't know, I just like the idea of being safe in my own little bubble, all the while being able to view the world in the comfort of my glass walls, because, ew, people. Right? I also placed a heap of plants in this room as well, just to bring a little bit of the outside in. Right now I'm just doing my final bits inside the house, adding some decorations. Put curtains over the door and over my favorite window in the bedroom. I decided to put these up since I thought maybe privacy would be nice. I didn't want to block out all the natural light, but I thought it would be nice to give the person living there the option to block out the world. Before we move on, do yourself a favor and like this video and subscribe to my channel for more Sims 4 related content. Now, where was I? For the outside of the house, I was going for a more renovated cottage vibe. The main building, which is that middle structure, in my head was the original building. And the bits on the side that make up the sunroom and the bedroom are all extensions that have been added in later. At least that's what I was going for anyway. I even used different foundations for the 2 extensions. The roof was surprisingly fun. It didn't stress me out and I didn't want to kill myself, which is a first. I liked making that glass area there in the middle middle. It had all the same tin roof before, and I felt like it was missing something because the roof pattern was so boring. So I broke it up with some glass. Of course, my partner, who's an engineer, is gonna say, oh, it's gonna be so hot in there. But this is The Sims and thermal dynamics don't exist. Yay! And now we have a landscaping. As per usual, I used Debug. Debug is the best. I went with wild and unkempt because that's actually the only thing I know how to do. I'm not the greatest with manicured gardens. I prefer my gardens wild and unkempt, which is what I did here. Lots of random placement of plants. Lest I bore you all, I'm just gonna quickly whiz through all of this and we'll move on to flybys. All in all, I like this build. I thought this build would be a mess, but I did better than I expected. Trust me, no one is more surprised than I am. I like the clean, modern, but slightly rustic exterior. The main living area feels large and open and spacious, despite this being a tiny build. The extensions are all tiny, but I tried to make them feel snug and warm and comfortable without them feeling cramped. I feel like I could have cluttered the place up a little bit more, but I'm not gonna pretend to be good at it, so I didn't bother. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll leave a link to Lizzie Builds channel in the description down below. Please follow her, she has amazing tiny builds, as well as a link to download this build from the gallery. Guys, try out my second shell challenge.